Hello, class. My name is Ricky Walter, and this is week 5, and this is our illustration analysis paper of a children's picture book or a children's illustration book. And before this week, I would often read to my children, maybe 10 years ago, now that my children are older. And when I would read or show them pictures in their book, depending on the level of book, I really just looked at the words, maybe the shapes, but most of the time I looked at the colors. If it was a bright book, it caught my eye. However, in the last couple of weeks, working with picture books, I really found the lines fascinating. So I just decided to do my paper on why lines are important. And lines are used to create shape, pattern, texture, space, movement, and an optical illusion in their design. So if you look here at Olivia, the use of the lines outline the shape of her, because her face is, light white and gray, so we need the outline. And then it also creates a border for her red dress and her black and white tights. So again, 10 years ago, I would just look at the bright red dress, maybe her black and white tights. But after those last 2 weeks, I really look at all the different ways the artist used lines to create this image. Lines are important because a line is a path of a moving vertical, horizontal, or diagonal point. It could also be a mark left by a tool, brush, pencil, or pen. A line defines the direction or position of a design, image, or form. Lines can be vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and contoured. Lines may also be curved, straight, thick, thin, smooth, long, or short. Use of lines allows an artist to demonstrate delicacy or force. Curves may take us slowly uphill or turn sharply, twisting our mind as they turn. And a line can express various moods and feelings. The first illustration book I chose was Hot Air. And Hot Air is a great example of using lines to create shape, pattern, and texture. Hot Air highlights the use of lines to create texture and depth needed to keep the young child engaged in a wonderful hot air balloon journey. If you look at this page, you have, mostly a brown background. And through the use of lines, the artist and author outlined that hot air balloon and used bold, vibrant colors. With the city as a backdrop, again, the lines are showing the texture of the building, showing the columns as lines. We see the fence. We see the ropes that are just black lines holding that hot air balloon down. And just those mix of just subtle lines with bold lines just helps the child, or even myself, picture that hot air balloon and how big and grand that hot air balloon is, and all the people around ready to see it lift off and go on its journey. The next one is pretty unique. This one is one that I found pretty interesting because it's just black and white, and it's the alphabets. And lines create a defining visual space. So just using black and white and letters, the author using sharp contrasting lines, you'll see in the letter G, is blended to create a goose. Dark black and white lines are symbolic, portray strength, and make a point. Right? So you see the G in a goose. Right? You see the J with the bird, right? These are all endangered animals, but it's H for hyena, right? So now, with the use of lines, the author is making the child think, what's the letter? Imagine what animal goes with that letter. And every time now, after the child reads this book or the parent reads the book to the child, they're going to remember G and think of a goose. My next one is a book by Cordell. And this use of the lines defines really what the author wants you to see. Without the use of lines, the wolves would look friendly instead of being scary and intimidating. Cordell chose to outline the animals, but not the grass or even the breath that you could see the wolf breathing. You really, when you look at this page, you see the wolf itself. You see each line depicting a hair on the wolf, and how in the right-hand corner, that wolf's hair is standing straight up, right? You really see texture and each hair, and it just makes that wolf really stand out on the page versus that soft tan maize color of the grass that they're roaming through. My last one that I chose was Humpty Dumpty. And what happened to Humpty Dumpty after his great fall? In here, the author chose clean, straight lines. Right? The colors used are light and do not take over the page. It's kind of symbolic to the story which is being told. It's simple. But using the different shades of the lines helps the reader see and imagine what happened to Humpty Dumpty after his great fall. And this one just struck out to me because all the lines seem to be perfect, right? Up and down, left to right. It really outlines each object or person, or even Humpty Dumpty, that the artist is trying to show, right? So if you look at the desk, straight lines, outlines the chair, it outlines the ladder. You see the lamp, right? You see his drawings against the wall. It's very easy for the reader to imagine what the author is trying to say. In the end, I'd always read a book to my kids and think about color, think about the story. And after these last couple weeks, I look back now at some of the books, and I even did this. I even went upstairs to my son's bookcase and pulled out some of the old books that he used to read. And it's crazy how I look at the book in a different way now. I'm looking at the lines. I'm looking to see how the author chose to use the lines to help tell that story through the picture book. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. This class is really getting me out of my comfort zone, and it's really making me think and show me how the struggle is still real, trying to get through school after 25 years. Thanks. Bye.